I'm Al McGlashan. I'm an underwater photographer, a doco maker and a mad keen fisherman. I've had a fascination with the world beneath the waves since I was a kid. Now I've been told fishing is boring, but I tell you what, if you're doing it that way, you're doing it wrong. Fishing is a fun and healthy pastime that gets us into the great outdoors with our family and friends. It's really diverse and we can catch anything from swordfish to bream. One of the most exciting ways to fish is with lures, because you're not just sitting around, you're actively hunting those fish. There's a multitude of lures out there, but one of the easiest to use is the soft plastic. And you know what? You can catch just about anything with them. Now, a lure is simply a man-made version of something a fish would normally eat, like a prawn or a bait fish. Fish don't have hands to feel with, so they strike it first and then decide whether or not it's edible. Soft plastics are some of the most effective artificial lures. Now, soft plastics have been around for decades, but they are now one of the hottest lures in your tackle box. And when I say they can catch anything, they can catch literally anything. They look like the real thing. They swim like they're alive. In fact, some soft plastics even come scented, or you can add scent to them, which makes them even more natural. Soft plastics come in all shapes, sizes and colours. In fact, some of the really big ones are bigger than some of the fish we catch. But you know what? They all have their place. Okay, so you're just starting out. What do you need to know? Well, firstly, you need to know what species you're targeting. Flathead and bream in your local estuary, or kingfish and even trevally up north. You need to imitate their prey. Now, a 5 to 10 centimetre grub or curtail is perfect in the estuaries, but a bigger paddle tail will work better offshore reefs, and of course you get the bigger stick bait style, which are great for the pelagics. When it comes to colour, just go wild. Everyone has their favourite, but you know what? There are no rules. So remember, most fish are at least partially colourblind, so if in doubt, just go for a natural colour. Some say bright for dirty waters, others say darker colours on overcast days, but pick the one you like and start casting. Now, most plastics are sold in packets, but they don't come with hooks or the weights. These are sold separately. The most common hook is called a jig head. Now, jig head is basically a hook with the weight added to it. Jig heads are designed so the hook sits up. Now, this is really important because it minimises the amount of snags. Now, with the soft plastic and the jig heads being sold separately, sometimes it can put people off. But the reality is, it's actually just like baiting up, like putting a prawn on, just without the smell. It's really handy to talk to the staff at your local tackle shop to get the advice and a few little tips on getting it right. Let's get started. First step you do is put the plastic against the jig head. And what you want to see is measure where that hook's going to come out. And as you can see, it's going to be right there. You can mark that with a pen if you want to. So next step, grab the plastic, get the hook. Remember, it's going to sit upright, and pin it in the center of the plastic. And then you're going to feed it gently onto the point of the hook and around to the point where it comes out, and then pierce the side and then slide it round, making sure that everything is in line, and then push it hard up against the back of the head. So you push right up hard, like so, and there you have your plastic. The key is that finesse. Make sure you get it, and make sure it's running flat and even along here. Otherwise, if it's twisted or like that, it won't swim. You literally won't catch fish. And there you have a plastic rigged and ready. So now with your plastic rigged correctly, next step, just tie it on. Now I like a uni knot, which is really simple, which of course is in the original series of Let's Go Fishing, but it's a really basic knot. There you go. You have a uni knot ready for action. One trick is, just before you start fishing, just check it swims right. Now, as you can see, you don't have to move a plastic much to bring it to life, and a lot of fish, the slower you move it, the better the bite. So when you're chasing fish like flathead, let it sink to the bottom because they're ambush hunters. Once it's on the bottom, wind up your slack, lift the rod, and then drop the rod down and watch the line until it stops. So it'll run out a bit, then it stops. As soon as it stops, you're on the bottom. And what you want is that plastic is to go up and down. And it imitates like a wounded prawn or a shrimp or a little bait fish. And the most important thing, you're staying in the strike zone. If you do this and start winding, you bring it up off the bottom away from the fish. Now this is good for other fish like pelagics, but in this case when you're chasing flathead, you want to keep it right on the bottom. You'll quite often get a bite as it's sinking down, especially with fish like bream. So as you cast out, watch that line. If it suddenly twitches, you're getting a bite. So get ready to strike at any time. And if you miss it, drop it down. So instantly, whoop, there, missed him. Let it go back down because he'll either have another shot or one of his mates will have a go. And that's about maximising opportunities. Now, another retrieve that works really well is to simply cast out and just a steady retrieve, pointing the rod towards the lure, towards your soft plastic. This works really well for pelagics, for salmon, for kings, and just nice steady retrieve. This gets the lure working or the soft plastic working really well in a natural way. You don't have to twitch it, you don't have to do anything, just steady retrieve, nice and slow. Just be willing to experiment because different retrieves will work better on different days. So always try different things. And that's the beauty of fishing. You can never master it, just get better. And always check your plastic, make sure there's no, in this case, weeds sitting on it, and attached right onto the tail, and clean it off. Also check for if something's been chewing on it, like tailor or leather jackets, and also just check your leader to make sure it's not scuffed either. It's this attention to detail that will catch you more fish. And just remember, these lures are artificial, so any that are chewed up or you're not using, they go in the bin. And it's amazing, even a place like this, in the middle of suburban industrial Sydney, you can catch fish. Now, when you catch a fish, we've got to look after it. If you want to keep one to eat or keep a couple to eat, not a problem at all. Make sure you've got ice and dispatch the fish quickly. But more importantly, if you're letting them go, we've really got to look after them. So get the hook out without damaging the fish. Hold it in a rag if you have to. Keep in the water even better, and then gently release it because they're too good to just catch once. And remember, only keep what you want to eat. Now, you should have a good idea of how to catch fish on soft plastics, but be warned, it's an incredibly addictive style of fishing. But fishing is a game of patience, and you need to earn your fish. You don't just go out and catch them every time. So what are you waiting for? Get out there with 3 million other Aussies and enjoy our great outdoors. Now, if I can just catch a fish.